Hi everyone, how are you my dear children? Hope you have seen the last video lecture. We have discussed the image formation and the characteristics of image in plane mirror. So today we are going to start with spherical mirrors, children. In last lecture also you have seen, or you may have that question, why I am going little bit different from the syllabus. That is my take on the 10th syllabus, so that it will be very easy when you move to 11th and 12th if you are pursuing science. Okay, if you are not pursuing also, it will give a clear picture, you can say clear knowledge about the particular subject, topic or chapter. Okay, today also I will not stick to the book. I will go little bit in broader way, you can say. I will approach the physics in little bit broader way. Hope it will make sense to you, and hope it will help you to understand better exactly what your syllabus is telling. Okay. So last lecture we have discussed about plane mirror. Today spherical mirrors. Before going into these spherical mirrors, let us try to understand why we need this. When we have already plane mirror and we are getting our pictures, image, everything, that means our purpose is done. We are getting everything. Then what is the importance of the spherical mirror? Why we are going to take so much of pain again to understand this? You might ask this question. So to understand that, what is the importance of the spherical mirror? Why this spherical mirror come into the picture when there is plane mirror existing? Let us try to understand this. We will take a day-to-day life example so that you can relate to this. You people have seen rear view mirror in the vehicle, either in car or bike you have seen, and you have seen also how small this mirror is. Using suppose going into the plane mirror, no. Suppose we are using the spherical mirrors, as we all are using, not suppose, we all are using spherical mirrors while driving. So you have observed, when you are using this mirror, we can view the entire backside view of our vehicle. The driver of the vehicle can see the entire backside view of our vehicle, like entire road, all the vehicles, the driver can see. So when the driver can see all the things, so it will be easier for the driver to drive safely, because he can assess where he is going and how fast he is going, so accordingly he can drive the vehicle. Okay. Now we are not using spherical mirror. Suppose we are using plane mirror, that we have already, have the plane mirror with us. Now we are installing plane mirror. Then what will happen? We know in last lecture we have seen the size of the image is same as the size of the object. Clear, children? So if we are using plane mirror, then what will be the size of the mirror? Just guess what will be the size of the mirror to get the entire view. To get the entire view, because size of the image and size of the object is all same. So how big this mirror will be? Is it possible to have such mirror in a vehicle? Is it possible? Definitely no. Okay, because when we are using actually spherical mirrors, in plane mirror it is not possible to use this huge plane mirror in our vehicle. Now going back to the spherical mirror. In spherical mirror, this much of small mirror also we can see the entire view. So how it is helping us? Actually this spherical mirror is giving the diminished size image of the object. That's why in this much of area you can see so many images, or the entire view of your backside while driving the vehicle. Clear, children? So we can see. So now for this region, now spherical mirror comes into the picture, and we are taking pain to understand this. If you are thinking it is a pain, for me it is the blessing. I am getting opportunity to know what is happening exactly. So in a small mirror we can see now the entire view. So the driver can drive the vehicle safely. Then comes to this. Why this term spherical in this case? Why this term spherical? Actually, we can say this as a spherical mirror because we get this type of a mirror, this spherical mirror, from a hollow glass sphere. From a hollow glass sphere. Sphere you can see, and take a small part of that hollow glass sphere, you are going to get your this spherical mirror. But while taking small part of the sphere, we must have a smaller part of the sphere. It should have a very small aperture, children. It should have very small aperture. Clear? Then why it should not have large aperture? You can ask. Why it should not have? Actually, if you take a larger aperture like this, if you take a larger aperture, what you will see, all the principal rays incidentting on the mirror, when they will reflect, it will not meet at a one focal point, at one point. So when we are taking this larger aperture, we are not going to get the one focus. So obviously it is a error. It is a error, and maybe we are going to study in detail in later lectures. Okay. So all the parallel rays will not be focused at single point. So for lab purpose we use, or for our study purpose we use small spherical mirror to get one focal point. That means one focus. All the rays will be focused at single point. And another thing, it is very easy to build also, and very cheap. Spherical mirror is very easy to build, sphere. Okay. If we are using parabolic mirror, actually in parabolic mirror you will see the focus is very, like if the focal point is really big, like you can view the very distant object. So focus is good in parabolic mirror. This is spherical mirror, parabolic mirror, this is spherical mirror, part of the spherical mirror what you are using. But parabolic mirror is like this, it is something flat in this. Like here you will see the bulging, and here in parabolic, here you will see little bit flatter when you go to the extreme thing. So it will get all the extreme rays to focus at one point in parabolic mirrors. But it is very difficult to build because see the structure. Okay, and it is very expensive, that's why. So, but for the big astronomical telescope, we use parabolic mirrors if we have sufficient amount of money. If money is not a constraint, we prefer parabolic mirrors while making giant astronomical telescope, children. But for our study purpose, since it is easy to build and cheap, we will use spherical mirrors having small aperture so that all the rays can meet at one focal point. Okay? Okay. Now we'll discuss in detail. Spherical mirror is of two types. One is concave, another is convex, children. Concave mirror or convex mirror. How we are going to get this concave mirror? Take the sphere. I told you take a glass hollow sphere, okay, polished, And I have also discussed what is the importance of this polished to get the reflection in case of plane mirror. So this is your polished side. Now take the half of it, take a part of it. Okay. Now this is you are going to get your concave mirror like this. Got it? How will you get your concave mirror? So let me draw the concave mirror what you are using. So this is your concave mirror. This part is polished and this is your reflecting part. So this is your reflect. That means your incident ray will incident on this and it will reflect back. And it will reflect back like this. Clear, children? So this is your reflecting surface and this is your polished surface. Hope I am clear. As the name suggests, you can see concave like this. It is like a cave. So your ray is striking this cave area like this. So that's why it is concave. In case of convex, what you will see? Now this part is polished and take this part. So you are going to get convex mirror. So let me draw the convex mirror. So convex mirror will be inner side, this side polished, and this will be your reflecting side. So this will be your reflecting side, children. Light will come and incident on the surface and it will reflect back like this. So this is your convex mirror, this is your concave mirror. Clear, children? Hope I am clear with this. Now let us understand how to draw the normal, because it is very important to draw the normal in, okay, because the incident angle and the reflected angle, everything is related to your normal. So in plane mirror it is easy, we have seen yesterday or in my last lecture we have seen. So this is your normal. Clear? But how to get the normal, how to draw the normal in spherical mirror? Let us try to understand. Suppose this is your sphere. At any point only your incident ray is getting incident or striking the surface. So suppose this is your sphere. I am taking this point. So this point means it will go like this. Incident ray will go like this. Suppose this is your polished side. Okay. Then what will the normal? To get the normal, what I will do, at that point, at any point, you just draw a tangent. Okay. And at the contact point, draw the normal. Suppose here, draw the tangent. At the contact point, draw the normal. Okay. Suppose at this point, draw the tangent and then draw the perpendicular. What you are observing, children? What you are observing? At each point, when you are drawing the perpendiculars, it is passing through one point and this is your center of the sphere. Clear, children? So now you are getting, in case of spherical mirrors, drawing normal means that normal should pass through the center of the sphere. Hope I am clear? Hope I am clear. Suppose this is your thing. This is your mirror. Okay. Now a ray is passing like this and this is your center of the sphere, suppose. So suppose this is your center of the sphere. Okay. Now draw the normal which will pass through the center. Okay. Now draw the reflecting. So this will be a normal. Hope I am clear with this. Okay. Now before going into the detailed study in the case of spherical mirror, let us get acquainted with some technical terms. Okay. Some technical terms let us get acquainted with. First is your center of curvature, children. Center of curvature. Center of curvature means you will denote as C. You will denote as C. Okay. Then what is the center of the curvature? You are getting your suppose this is your spherical mirror, children, concave mirror. From which sphere you have taken this part, the center of that sphere is center of curvature for this. Am I clear? From which sphere you have taken this mirror by cutting it, the center of that sphere is your center of curvature and it is denoted as C. Suppose from this sphere you have cut this part of spherical mirror, so this is your center of curvature. So this sphere center is your center of curvature for this mirror. Hope I am clear with this. Okay. Now what is pole? Clear, center of curvature, and all the definitions are there in the book, so I am not going to give it to you. I am here to just explain. Okay. Then next is your pole. Pole is denoted as capital P. Okay. What is pole? This is your mirror, children. This is your mirror. Okay. And this is your center of curvature. This midpoint of this mirror, the center of this mirror, not the sphere, children. This is your sphere. Okay. From where you have taken this mirror. Midpoint is this sphere's. This midpoint is the midpoint of the mirror, not the sphere. Am I clear? So center of the spherical mirror gives you the pole. So let me draw now. So this is your center of curvature and this is your pole. In case of convex, what will happen? This is your pole, center, and this is your center of curvature. Hope I am clear with this now. Now what is radius of curvature? Third is, what is radius of curvature, children? Radius of curvature is denoted as radius of curvature. It is denoted as R, children. Okay. What is radius of curvature? Radius of curvature is nothing. It is the radius of sphere from which your mirror has been cut. Okay. So simply you just draw this, because this is your sphere, children, and this is the radius of the sphere, and this is your radius of curvature. Hope I am clear with this, and you will denote it as R. So simply PC is equal to R. Clear? Then comes to what is your principal axis. Next is what is your principal axis, children. What is principal axis? This is something, nothing actually. Let me draw first, then you will come to know. This is your P and this is your C. Just join this. This is a straight line, children. Straight line joining the center of curvature and the pole produced in both sides. Suppose this is X, this is X prime. So this is your principal axis. In case of convex, how it will be? Suppose this is your pole and this is your center of curvature. Just join and extend in both the sides. So this is your principal axis. Hope I am clear with this. Okay. Now what is aperture, children? What is aperture? When you are cutting the mirror from the sphere, you are cutting like this. So this side it will be like this, children. So this is your aperture only. Okay. This is your aperture only. And this is your radius of aperture. This is your radius of aperture. Hope I am clear with this. Okay. So radius of aperture, in the case of linear aperture, will need linear aperture. So aperture is of the spherical mirror is nothing. It is the diameter of the reflecting surface of the mirror. That is called linear aperture. Suppose this is your mirror, okay, and this is the diameter. So this is your linear aperture. Suppose M prime. This is your C and this is your P. Hope I am clear with this linear aperture. Clear? Okay. Now let us understand the important part, that is your principal focus and focal length, children. What is principal focus and focal length? Principal focus. Let us first understand what is principal focus. We will discuss first with the concave, children. Concave mirror first we will do. Now this is your concave mirror and this is your principal axis. This is your P and this is your center of curvature C. Okay. So what we will do, we will take parallel rays like this. Clear, children? And it will get reflected. It will get reflected. Here also we are taking another parallel ray like this. So before going to the reflected ray, let us try to draw the normal. How the normal will be? Normal is what I have told, it should pass through the center. So let us first try to draw the normal. So this is your normal, children, for this point, for this incident ray. And here then this is your normal. Okay, and the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So this will be your reflection and this will be your reflection. See, this is your focal point. Clear, children? These parallel rays after reflection meeting at a point, and this point is called focus, that is your F. Okay, and as you can see, these rays are actually meeting. So this is your real focus. Clear? And here also you see the converging. The rays are after reflection converged, meeting at a one point. So concave mirror is also known as converging mirror. Converging mirror, meeting at one point after the reflection, children. Hope I am clear with this principal focus of concave mirror. Another important one. Okay, in book it is not there. Actually these rays, what we are taking, these are paraxial rays. These are paraxial rays. What is this paraxial rays? These paraxial rays, actually these rays, these parallel rays should be very close to your principal axis. Okay, and the very close to your principal axis, the parallel rays that are close to the principal axis are called paraxial, and the parallel ray which are further away from the principal axis, those are called marginal rays. And we are only dealing with paraxial rays, children. Okay, and in the beginning of the class, let me tell you another thing. In the beginning of the class, I have already told that we are using the mirrors having very small aperture. See, this much aperture, very small. So since it is your praxis, tell me about the paraxial ray. Will not the parallel rays will be close to the principal axis? Tell me. Is it clear? Again we are getting another reason why we should take small mirrors. In book you will see the zoom image only. Actually these mirrors are very small. Purpose is to get all the rays meeting at one point. Clear? Hope I am clear with this paraxial rays also. Okay. let us see what is the principal focus in case of convex mirror. In case of convex mirror, how to draw the convex mirror? Inner side will be like this, and this is your P and C. Let me draw the principal axis first. So this is your pole and this is your C. Okay children, now our parallel rays is getting incident over here. C will be here. Okay, so here also another ray will be incident. Now try to draw the normal. So how will you draw the normal? Normal should be passed through the center. So this is your normal. Here also tell me what is the normal? What is the normal? So this is your normal and this is your normal. Now draw the reflected rays. Let me just quickly erase this, so it will be easier to see the things. So you have to draw the reflected ray. It is, this is your incident, this is your normal. So your reflected ray will be like this. Let me draw more clearly. So it will be like this, reflected, and it will be like this, reflected. Clear children? Sorry, this. It will be your reflected ray. Now produce this reflected ray. As you can see, after reflection, now these rays are diverging. So that's why convex mirror is also known as diverging mirror. Now just extend it and here also extend it. This is your focus children. This is your focus. But they are not actually meeting. We are producing. So this is a virtual focus in case of convex mirror, or you can say imaginary focus. Okay, so here reflected rays are meeting at a point on the back side. So these diverging rays are produced backward and meeting at common point is your on the principal axis. Never forget that on the principal axis is called your virtual focus or imaginary focus. Hope I am clear with this. Now what is the focal length? Focal length is nothing, this PF. In case of concave, so after the reflection, sorry, okay, how they are meeting? Tell me how they are meeting children in case of concave mirror. How they will meet? This PF is your focal length and focal length is termed as F children. Focal length is termed as F. Now let me draw for concave mirror. So this is your concave mirror, this is your P and this is your C. It is going and it is reflecting like this and it is reflecting like this. So this is your reflected ray and this is your reflected ray. This is your incident ray children. And this PF, this distance is your focal length. Hope I am clear with this. Focal length F. Clear? Now let us see an interesting thing. F is equal to R by 2. Everybody knows. But it is not exactly F by R by 2. F is equal to R by 2. R is capital R, radius of curvature. There is some condition. Let us try to understand what is that. Okay? So let me draw the concave mirror children. Please focus children. Let me draw the concave mirror. So this is your principal axis. Okay? This is P and this is C. Now I am taking one parallel rays incident over here, and let us try to draw a normal, and that normal will pass through the center at this point. So this is your normal, children. Okay, so this is your center of curvature. Okay, so after reflection the ray will meet at focus. Just now we have seen now. So this is your reflected ray. Hope I am clear with this diagram. Okay, okay. Let it meet at N. Okay. Now what is PC? PC is equal to, children, what is PC? The radius of curvature, R. What is PF? PF is your focal length. Okay, PF is your focal length. Now we'll draw a perpendicular. Draw a perpendicular on this normal, or you can say on this CN. So let it be FM. So FM is perpendicular to CN. We have drawn this. Clear? And here angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So this is theta, means this is theta. Okay, and these two lines are parallel. So if this is theta, this is alternate interior, this will be theta. Clear, children? Now see the triangle FCN. In triangle FCN, these two are theta and theta. That means this side is equal to this side. So it is a isosceles triangle. And when you are drawing perpendicular on the opposite side, so it will bisect the third side. We have already seen in our mathematics. So that means this MN will be CM will be equal to MN. By the way, children, what is this CN? Can you people tell me what is this CN? Please observe. It is like radius only, CP. Okay, so CN nothing but R. So CN, so CM will be R by 2 as CN is equal to your capital R, radius of curvature. Hope I am clear with this. So CM is equal to MN is equal to R by 2. Now let us this triangle CMF. Okay, this triangle, in triangle CFM, let CF is equal to X, suppose CF is equal to X, and you can see this is a perpendicular and this is a RHS, right hand triangle. So what is your cos theta? Can anybody tell me what is your cos theta? I can remove this, so I get space to prove. Okay, so in this triangle, what is cos theta, children? Cos theta is equal to base divided by hypotenuse. So what is base? Base is CM divided by hypotenuse is CF. Can you people see the things? Can you people see the things? Okay, so what is CM? That is R by 2. R by 2 by X. CF is your X. So it comes around R by 2X. Okay, then from this relation, what is X, children? X cross multiply. So X will be R by 2 cos theta. R by 2 cos theta, or simply you can write R 1 by cos theta is equal to sec theta. So you can write R by 2 sec theta. Hope I am clear with this. So what is your F? I have already told FP is your F. So enter, this is your radius of curvature R. So what is F now? This is FP. This is your F. So F is equal to R minus X. R minus X. So we can write R minus R by 2 sec theta. But you people can think, what is this? We have been told F is equal to R by 2. How come we are getting this? Till now, hope I am clear with this. Okay, R minus R by 2 sec theta. Let me erase this also. since we are taking very small aperture like this, tell me what will be the theta. See the angle. It will be very small. Since we are taking very smaller aperture, so theta will be very, very small. When theta will be very small, we know that sin theta is nearly equal to theta and cos theta will be nearly equal to 1. If cos theta is nearly equal to 1, then sec theta will be nearly equal to 1. So here you can put sec theta is equal to 1. So now let us see what is this. F is equal to r minus r by 2. So finally we are getting F is equal to r by 2, but condition is it has to have smaller aperture. You have to take the mirror, the spherical mirror have to have smaller aperture. Hope I am clear with this. In all the books you will see there will be the one condition. For this condition to be satisfied, there will be one condition. The aperture of the spherical mirror must be much smaller than the radius of aperture. Clear, children? Okay. So I'll stop here. So in my next lecture we'll be discussing all the sign convention and we'll see little bit more to this. And I hope you have understood this lecture, and this lecture is helping you to understand the syllabus in just little bit broader way. Okay, children? Thank you for watching. Please take care of yourself. Please focus and study. Bye. Thank you for watching.